where you're actually chatting from. So if you tell us your location, where you're actually chatting from, we have your name, and we can kind of introduce each of you as you come in. So Erica from Ottawa, amazing and deep. Can hear clearly, perfect. We've got Newmarket, Etobicoke, Calgary, Brampton, Miami in the house. Irene from Ottawa as well. Thornhill, St. Catharines, Vancouver. We've got Toronto. Holy moly. From all over Canada. We've got some United States. Burlington, Richmond Hill, Whitby. Adam Nash from Whitby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Brampton, Toronto. So we've got, as always, we've got a ton of people from the GTA. That's where we've really known the most. And we've got St. Catharines, Guelph. How long is the webinar, Theo? I think we're going to be about 35, 40 minutes long. We are going to try to make it as interactive as possible. So I don't know if you guys, it'll kind of depend on at the end of the webinar if you guys have questions. We'd love to be able to answer all the questions that you have. So we've got Shauna here with us. It is 12:29. We are going to get into it. Hey, Shauna, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect. Okay, so what I'll do, Shauna, is I'll maybe share my screen, and then a lot of these points are what you've put together. So you're going to help us kind of go through the points. I've got a really loud sound from you, Shauna. Okay, it's a little bit better.
It's from the water heater.
Oh, okay. I'm working from the office. I'm the only one in the office. Shauna is at home, so we're isolating just like everybody else is. So hopefully that heater doesn't come on too many times, because it is. Maybe when it does come on, mute yourself, and that way it'll be okay. A little bit easier. Awesome. Good stuff. So we've got about 140 people on. We've had about over 500 people register, which is typical for a webinar. This is going to get recorded, guys. So in the event that you're not here, or in the event that you leave early, you're going to get a video, and you'll be able to get all the value from it. So I will go ahead and share my screen. So we're going to start right away, so we're just not wasting too much time of people. So let's get right into it. So before we actually get into it, as I mentioned in the video, for those of you that are wondering, what we did is we basically wanted to figure out how many leads we can actually get to speak to us when we're only trying to communicate with them by SMS and email. So as we know, calling internet leads is not the most pleasurable thing in the world. In fact, I mean, I don't know who likes talking to people that don't want to talk to them. I don't think anybody does, but we wanted to really truly see, we've been getting reports from clients that have been saying they're perfectly capable of converting leads with just text messages and email, and have done so for a while. In fact, how many people do we have here? We've got about 170 people. We should have a few that are converting leads just by SMS and email. If you could just raise your hand and say, me, how many of you basically don't pick up a phone to call your leads? You're just using SMS and email to actually convert them. So if you just in the chat say yes, me, or whatever it is, so we can actually just get a sense of how many there are like that. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to get into exactly what we've done. At the end of the presentation, what we're going to do is we're going to share with you. So Rob says yes. We've only got one person that says yes to that question that I asked. Yes. Okay. We've got Geoff says yes, SMS only. Perfect. Marilyn. Sometimes I do need to learn more though. Amazing. Daryl he says yes as well. So certainly a decent number of people SMS mostly. From Malcolm. Michelle, sometimes need to learn more. Joanne, yes. Awesome. Mike, Guerra, Rohit, never. Rohit Sharma, you're only calling, so that's interesting. Okay, so Ross Bridges, call and text, amazing. Ross has actually been one of our clients. It's been with us for forever. I remember 10 years ago when I started this, he was one of the first to get on. So nice to see you, Ross. So the things that we're going to share with you today is we want to do two things. So number one, we actually want to share with you everything that we've done in terms of how we looked at the actual conversation, the stats that we got, And then what we want to do after the event is we put together all of the text messages. We put together all the campaigns that we've actually have automated. And we're created step by step so that you can actually take that, copy into your system, and really use it on your own. So if you want to do this on your own, where, you know, basically copy everything that we've done and use it on your own, we're going to give you all of that completely free. And if whether you're an Agent Locator client or not, you're going to get it completely free. So that's kind of the idea. So we went over the stats really quick, but let's kind of go through them again. So Shauna is the one that's been sort of running the entire program for us and helping us do the whole thing full time. So Shauna, maybe you go over the stats a little bit. I went over them last time, but let's just reiterate the stats so people can kind of understand what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. So we worked on a few of the accounts, which the new leads totaled out to about 541. Out of those 541, 216 leads I was able to make contact with. Make contact doesn't necessarily mean that it was a full out conversation, but they did respond to the text message. Sorry.
So there was one question that I actually wanted to pop in here, and I know that I get asked this question. So what are the areas that we covered? So these 541 leads were for 3 separate areas. One was Barrie, one was Edmonton, and what was the third?
Kingston.
Kingston. Okay, so Kingston, Barrie, and Edmonton. Okay, awesome. So 541 totaling, and 40% response, basically 216 leads responded from those 541. So outside of those, the remaining of the 541, the 60% of leads, they never responded. Are they still looking, or do we have any stats in terms of, are they still looking? Do we still have a possibility of maybe getting some of those to respond?
Absolutely, there is a possibility. I found even with older leads that were sitting in the accounts, if you actually blast them with a text message every so often, you'll get responses that way as well. So there is still opportunity for them to respond.
Right. Okay. And you know what would be great for us to figure out is from these remainder of the leads, how many of them are actually still active? So if we can get that information over to everybody who's actually on this webinar afterwards, when they download all the info, Sean, if you could just write that down, I would be curious to understand how many of those 60% of those leads, how many of them actually still actively looking at listing, because that'll tell us an indication of whether they are kind of great or not. Okay, awesome. So now let's go down. We've got 13%, so 12.96 of those leads. Tell us what do you consider a good potential? So, because that's what we marked as a good potential, right?
Yes. So a potential would be that they've provided information of when they're looking, what they're looking for, and pretty much have given all the information. However, not ready to talk right now because they could be six months to 2 years down the road. So
okay. Yeah, so they basically responded. They're just not ready to speak yet, and they have kind of responded. Okay, let me actually interrupt you in here for a second. There's been some chatter here, and if we can answer questions as we're actually doing this webinar, if you guys have questions that we can answer, it would be amazing that we could possibly answer them at the end of the webinar, or if there's some of them that are coming up where you guys are actually chatting about. So does the AL program place helping blast older leads? So great question on that, Ross, blasting older leads. We are going to include blasting older leads into the program that we're having. And the blasting older leads is basically just to get something out of those leads every now and then. So it is going to include us actually doing a blast. Now, it's not going to be consistent where we're consistently actually tracking and working those leads every day, but we're going to blast to try to extract some stuff out of the old leads that you have. So that's 100%. Now let's keep going on these stats so we can just get through the stats so we can make sure. So the 12.96% of the leads, basically 28 of those leads, let me go back, 28 of the 216 leads that we communicated with created a positive response saying that they would like to communicate, they want more information, but they're not ready to really transact yet in the next 6 months or longer. So now the 27 leads, which were that 216, 12.5%. Tell us a little bit about those, Shauna.
So those were people that were in the 6-month period of possibly transacting. So the conversation was really to extract some of qualifying questions, but really try and get them on the phone with the agent. So
Right.
booking a call with the agent, so they can kind of take it from there.
Okay, so that basically 27 of those 216 leads committed to having a phone call with the agent who we're actually doing this for, and then the call was booked for the agent. And then if we go look down further, 6 of those 27 we've done actually, they've already gone up for showings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Now we did have one more stat that we kind of pulled up the later point. There were 2 sales. Was it 2 sales that were done from the 6?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So
So
there's 2 sales and 2 active.
Right. So there has been 2 sales actually already done, which means within the last 3 months of new leads coming in, 2 sales were already done at that very point. Now, most leads that come in are at the very beginning. So when we really think about internet lead generation, guys, in general, that we are going to catch some leads who are closer in the pipeline and ready to actually make a move sooner, but more leads than that are actually just at the beginning stage of their search process. So a lot more of these 216 leads that we made contact with, you'll be able to get more out of them at a later time. Okay, so now let's tell us a little bit about exactly your process, Shauna, in terms of, just characteristics that you've found work quite well.
Yeah, so for texting, I found that short and sweet was best, straight to the point, asking one question as they would respond, usually to only one question only, even if you added 2 in there. The other thing is also I focused on customer service. So when starting off the text message, like, hey, how are you? How was your weekend? That sort of thing. So then they can engage that way, as well as answer the question that you have sent out. With offering complete resource package, this helps for those leads that are not quite ready in that 6-month period, that are a little bit down the road from making a transaction. Offering like the mortgage broker, when you have a connection with the mortgage broker, you can actually refer them to the mortgage agent and have them referred back once that's completed.
So include the agent into that, especially to those that are maybe further out or they haven't really gotten to the point where they've even done their financing, because we're asking these questions, right? We're asking questions: are they pre-approved? Are they ready to are they ready to see properties based on being pre-approved? There was a question here by Ian: can we provide an example of a text message? And we are going to actually provide you not just examples of text messages, but we're going to provide you examples of communications we've had with the actual leads. So with these 6 leads that we've done showing with, we'll give you the exact conversation that we've had. We're going to extract all the private information out of it, but just so you can see. And on top of that, we're actually going to send you all the different SMS messages we use. So not only the SMS messages in the campaign, which is the 14-day campaign, which we're going to talk about, but also other messages that were based on interactivity. Like if somebody likes a property or if somebody looks at a property a few times, what messages did we send? And what are all the pre-qualifying messages that we actually talked about? So that's all going to get included in when we actually give you this. Then the other important thing here mentioned, creating interactive video to include in your campaign. So that's one of the things I think it's in the slide down the road. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. So let's talk about this then, notes. Kind of the stats and a little bit more on what you found, Shauna.
Yeah, so about 55% of the leads who booked a call responded to the first 2 text messages. So the automated text messages, just inquiring about what they're looking for, their search criteria.
Okay, so that's important. Let me actually stop you there for a quick second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt you like this. So what's important here, guys, is that when we look at the automated campaign that we're going to have, 55% of these, oh, Shauna, your microphone. Maybe you just mute yourself. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So 55% of the leads that came in responded to the first 2 SMS messages that we sent. So that's kind of important to know that 45%, the remaining, actually did not respond to the first 2 SMS messages, that they responded to at a later time where we were tracking their activity, looking at what they were looking at, which listings, if they looked at a listing a few times or if they liked the property, we would contact them. And again, we will give you all the scripts that we used when we actually reached out to them, and which interactive videos we use. So when we talk about interactive video, Bill, I see your question. The interactive video was basically the first welcome video that we sent out. So sorry, Shauna, go ahead. 45% required follow-up after that. So let's keep going with that.
Yeah, so these are directed to the ones that actually book the appointment, not so the engagement. So engagement, the stats are different. It's, like I said, it's for the ones that have booked the appointment only.
Okay, perfect. So this is an interesting. So out of those 27 leads that did book the appointment, so we're only looking at those 27 leads that actually said that they were willing to speak to an agent.
Correct.
Okay, so these stats are from those actually very specific leads that were willing to communicate right away. 55% of them responded to the first 2 SMS messages, 45% required engagement after that. Okay, that's great to know. Let's keep going.
Yes, so even though the lead was responding to the first 2 text messages, there is still loss of opportunity there, because I did notice, even going through other CRMs, is that the conversation kind of stopped at the point of, oh, I'm just browsing, or yes, that's correct. So actually continuing to engage and following up with the conversation and trying to extract more information.
Okay, so that's very interesting from the perspective. So when we send out the first SMS message, it says typically, thanks for browsing the website. I see you're looking for homes in a certain price range. Are you looking for just detached? And they respond with yes. That what you're seeing is that by actually including some of these other messages to them, by asking them some simple questions, they continue the conversation. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So not stopping at an objection where someone's just saying, they're browsing, and your response would be happy browsing. Well, no, the next step is to try and gather more information, because they were looking at that point for a reason, whether it's they've changed their plans or.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And we'll include all of the messages, guys, so you guys have that in your kind of, arsenal, so you can use all the messages, different messages that we used. Awesome. So you're also talking about overcome objections, try to, you already said that, try to get on the phone. Okay, so then talk about objections, try to get them on the phone.
Yeah, so the objective, obviously, with the text messages is to try and get them on the phone at that point, but it is also filling your calendar for the future. So figuring out when they are looking, asking permission of, can you follow up with them and give them a call closer to when they are looking to transact. So then you have future appointments as well for these leads, instead of just focusing on what's available now.
Okay, awesome. All right, so one of the main things that Shauna did here is she created this 14-day welcome campaign, and the 14-day welcome campaign is going to be included in everything for that campaign. So this is an example. Actually, we wanted to put together a quick example. Mark was the client from Kingston, I think, Shauna?
Yes.
Yes. And this is kind of an example of Mark's first email that we put together. And again, this will get included in that package that we put together for you. We actually haven't finished it yet, but so we're going to get you to go to a website. We're going to fill out your information. We'll send it to you. But we'll send you the actual text, the actual email. This is kind of what it looks like. And then I want to show you an example of the video as well. Can you guys hear, Shauna? If I play this, are you able to hear what Mark is saying?
No.
If you go to your settings where it says more auto, if you share computer sound.
Share sound. Okay, there it is. I clicked on share sound. Let's try again.
Hey there, it's Mark from the Northland Real Estate Group. Just wanted to send you a real quick message today to see how your home search is going. I figured it was time to put a face to the name, as you registered on our website a little while ago, and we've been sending you some properties ever since. Wanted to let you know that there is actually somebody behind that search. Whether it's myself or the team, we are here to help. If there's any changes you'd like to have made, or if there's any questions you have about any of the properties, please let us know. Shoot us a quick message, respond to this email, or you can text us anytime. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. So that's the video, and again, it's included in the 14-day campaign email. It's the very first one that's being sent out. And so I did see somebody mention BombBomb here. You don't necessarily need BombBomb here at all. You can send this right through our system. You record it, upload it to YouTube, and you can include even a GIF image like this where he's pointing to the play button to get him to play it. So we can include instructions on how this can actually be set up inside of your own account with AgentLocator, or if you're using some other providers as well, I'm sure that's possible with them as well. So that's really what the video says. Now, there's been some interesting things that you can share with us, Shauna, and I know for all the clients that we got this on, those that provided videos had a much better success than those that didn't. Is that correct? And help me understand that a little bit.
Yes, that's what I actually wanted to touch base on. So I tried it, the campaign without a video, and I tried it with the video. There was actually more interaction with the video, with people sending emails, providing tidbits of what they're looking for in their home. Okay. So it was definitely a great thing and worked very well.
Yeah, and that's awesome to know. That's a huge help. So Chris asked the question: is the webinar recorded? Chris, yes, 100%. We're recording it. It will be sent to everybody from Zoom, so you can go back and look at it any time. So so that's not a problem at all. Great. So do you want to talk about some of these points so we can just get through this part, and I'll read through any questions that we have here.
Yeah. So the campaign is to try and assist you with obviously keeping up with your leads that come in, because we know that you're busy. So the texting and email where it's automatically going out, it's kind of taking some of the load off of you and sending it off. Right. The next point is really, you've watched the video, so you can kind of see what to include in it. And then also signing off with your name and brokerage, so then they know where the text message is coming from. Right. Because I had a lot where there was no name included, and they'd be like, "Oh, who's this? Who's this?" And it just it worked better with the signature.
With the signature inside. Okay, awesome. So now this is the second part to the entire concept. There's first the automation, which is just automating the messages from going out automatically. The second part is looking at what people are looking at. So tracking the leads and looking at when they look at multiple listings or they like the property. In fact, tell us a little the automation we currently have, Shauna, that they can get notified when these things happen.
So I found it to adjust my alerts to include your emails to be alerted if someone liked a listing or they looked at a property more than 3 times or who became active after 30 days. I adjusted these over time because I did feel a little overwhelmed when there was every lead that became active after 4 hours. I was getting those alerts. So adjusting that definitely helped. And focusing on these ones and trying to engage with them within a few hours of me receiving this email. And most times it did work. If I was able to reach out to them within those few hours, the engagement increased. So
okay, awesome. Yeah. So the engagement is really, really, really important, guys. Also, where you are tracking the engagement in terms of, you don't necessarily need to track, like Shauna said, where you're constantly in there looking at what people are looking at. Our system has the ability to notify you when somebody looks at a single property 3 times. That's a great example of an active lead. Or when somebody likes a property, you're being notified that they've liked the property. Or if they were inactive for a period of 30 days and then they became active again, there's a notification for that as well. We will include for all those AgentLocator clients, we will include how to actually set up those 3 notifications for yourself as well. That way you're fully informed on that. And again, I see there's some questions about video messages. We will show you an example and we'll send you a link to Mark's video in terms of what he said. And I don't know if you have any other videos, Shauna, that we can share, but as we get these, we can share the videos with you guys. So awesome. Let's keep going on here. So let's keep going on with the points here. I think we talked about
I pretty much touched base on the previous one with trying to connect the same day. This is just really points that I've already gone over on the previous slide.
So trying to, when you get that message and you're getting a notification, they've looked at a property 3 times, if you're responding to that notification a day later, it's not as effective as if you were responding to them the same day, or possibly the moment when you get it. The chances of the lead actually being actively they're looking at that property right now, and if they get a message from you at that very point, it's just more, it actually works a lot better. So
even with sorry to interrupt, even with verified phone numbers as well, the ones that come in and state the email stating that they verified their phone numbers, sending out a text message to them within a few hours of them verifying also increase the engagement. So that's an option as well.
Okay, awesome. So I have another question here for what messages. We didn't want to include all the messages because there's a bunch of different messages that were used. So it'd be really hard for you guys to get the value from the actual messages here. We are going to send you all the messages so that you can see exactly what we've used. We're going to put them together in a Google document so you can see the exact messages that were sent out. Let's talk about the tags a little bit. So how you use the tagging system to help you filter the leads.
Yes, so creating a filter as well as tags. Tags are great for knowing how to follow up. So you can tag your lead once you've extracted the information of when they are looking. You can tag them with follow-up timelines. So instead of creating tasks every time, you can just tag them and filter them out. So that's beneficial. And then also creating that task for closer to when you should be calling, when they're closer to transacting.
So I want to make a just point on this one. So for all of you listening, the over-tasking ourselves, like if I create a task for everything that I need to do, then I don't do anything. I end up having a million tasks and they never get done. So what Shauna is talking about is, imagine if you had the ability that you can just pop into your office and then you can pull up your list of leads that you're supposed to contact that day. And that list would include all of those leads that you actually haven't contacted in a certain period of time. It just automatically appear inside of your system as that list. So that's the concept of tagging and then using filters to say the filter is, give me all the leads that are tagged with 3-month follow-up and actually have not SMS them in 3 months. And the system will automatically show you a list of all those. And then you can see when they're active, what do they say? So that's basically how you're going to be tagging those leads. And we can give examples, video examples of how to set that up as well in the system so you guys know. The idea with all this, guys, is that we truly want to give you and empower you 100% to do all this yourself, if you want to do it yourself. If you want us to do it, then we'll be more than happy to do it. We won't be able to do it for a ton of clients because Shauna is the only one right now that's in charge of all this. And as we expand that team and put more people in place, we're going to be able to do it for more people. But until that, we'll be able to accept a smaller number of clients, but at least you will also be able to do all this on your own if you wish to do it all on your own. So we finished with this one. Let's go into, so there are some examples of some of the SMS messages or some of the text messages and emails that we've used here. So that is included. And I don't want to go through the actual precise messages, but example, will you be in the market for a home in 2021? Are the property listings meeting the needs of your next home? Just quick questions that you're asking them and trying to extract information. I noticed you've taken interest in a specific address. Did you have any questions? So if they look at a property a certain number of times, I noticed that you had an interest in 1234somedrive.com, some drive. Did you have any questions? So again, all of these, you don't have to take screenshots into this stuff. We will provide you with a much better version of all this so you can use it yourselves. Objectives of your conversations. So you want to talk a little bit about objectives, Shauna?
Yeah, so what you're trying to get from the conversation, so you know how to follow up, or really is to get them on the phone. So determining what the lead is looking for and if they're on a correct search, so their price range, area, style of home. I did focus on must-haves as well, because then this gives me more information. Let's say they're not ready for another year, you can start sending them listings that completely match their criteria when they're closer to being ready. The next one is finding out when they're wanting to move. So this will put them where they need to be in the funnel and give you the information of one is to get them onto the phone. If they're not willing to get on the phone, then knowing how to follow up with them and when to be calling out to them. Did you want to touch base on anything, Adam?
No, I was actually just going through some of the questions, and the points are quite important in terms of objectives. And we all know what our objective is as far as actually getting as much information out of the lead as possible. But it's not what you say, it's how you say it that really makes a difference.
Right.
So there are some questions. I'll wait until the end to kind of answer all those other questions. There's a few other objectives here. I think you might have mentioned really all of these in the presentations. Continue conversations even though you may get one-word answers. So I like this perspective, continue the conversation even though you may get one-word answers. So again, the idea is that we extract them as much information as we can out of them. So even if they say yes or no, keep asking your questions.
Yes, that was the biggest thing, is even going through the CRM previously before starting. I just seen a lot of like answers that were I'm just browsing or yes, and then the conversation ended there. Where I found that if you continued with it, you were able to get a lot more information and either set them up on a phone call or know how to follow up with them for the future.
Right. Okay. Awesome. So at the very last, so everybody who wants to get a copy of this, everybody who fills out this form will get a copy of it. So if you go to download.wehelp.ca, and everybody again who fills out the form will get a copy of everything that we talked about here. When you fill out this form, we know we've actually communicated enough information. The biggest issue that we have is and I saw there was a point here, we should send out all the information to everybody who registered to the webinar. The problem that we have sometimes with that is when we don't explain these things to them on a webinar like this, there's so many questions that we get asked afterwards on how to actually set all this up. So it's easier that we're only sending it to those that are actually filling out that form. And in here, we do ask, if you're currently interested in the ISA service provided by AgentLocator, you could say, yes, I need this right away. Or if you really don't have no interest, please just say you have no interest. Or if you have an interest, maybe later, you can say that you have an interest later towards it. And the link again is here. I'll send the link here on the browser. One sec. Download.wehelp.ca. So it is there. Download.wehelp.ca. So the cost of the AgentLocator service, if we wanted to do this for you guys, and where we cover all of this and we cover even your older leads, again, the older leads are not going to be where we communicate with them as much as we do to the new leads, but we will try to extract it out of your leads as best we can. The cost is $4 per lead. And then you have to be getting a minimum of 100 leads to be on the service. So we will at our later time have the ability to lower the cost of the service and lower the minimum number of leads as threshold. The problem that we have right now is resources. We only have a finite amount of resources to be able to actually run these programs. So we can only include accounts that actually have a larger number of leads coming in. But for the rest of you that are looking to do this on your own, we will again provide you with everything that you need to set this up inside your AgentLocator account or whatever other service that you guys are using, and go from there. So I'd love to help and answer any questions here. I know that we've had some questions come in, and I'll pop in and answer all of them. So I need more texting. I don't know what that means. Okay, quality wise, which leads are better responding, Google or Facebook? So Mandeep, the test that we've had here, Shauna, correct me if I'm wrong, did we have a mix of leads coming from Facebook or Google for the clients that we were testing on, or was it all Google leads?
All Google. All
Google, okay. So the ultimate question, or which leads are better, Facebook or Google, is a hard one to answer. The reason why it's hard to answer is really depends on who's qualifying the leads. I've seen agents who completely suck at conversion, that they fail qualifying leads and do horrible with Google leads. and do, you know, agents that do great with qualifying leads, do amazing with Facebook leads, but then we have a ton of clients doing so well with Google leads. So the best way that I've actually answered this question in the past is said, let's look at what we're getting, right? Let's look at what we're getting. So on one side, we have Google, which is people searching for home for sale, right? They're actually putting in home for sale and whatever, which means they have intent. Now, we don't know they're actually looking to buy for sure. We just know they went online and actually searched for a home. So that's intent-based lead generation. And then we have Facebook, where we're targeting people not based on an interest. We're not saying that I only want to target people on Facebook who are interested in buying a home. You're targeting everybody in a given city. And right now with these rules that Facebook has where you can't even target by age, you're literally targeting everybody from 18 to 65, and they're responding to an ad that they see. So that's the difference. And I hope that answers your question with respect to Google or Facebook. But again, I've seen agents work Facebook leads, and I've seen them convert as well. So it's not that you cannot convert Facebook leads in any way, shape, or form. Certainly can. We have a question. Is there a possibility the system can send automatic text messages, email when a lead viewed property 3 times? So Rad, that's a great question. It is a feature that we want to implement. We're implementing a functionality that's going to allow us to actually have you text or email whatever you want based on an interaction. So meaning that if a lead became active again after 30 days, you can send an email or a text. If a lead has liked the property, you can send an email or text based on specific criteria. But that is not something that is available right now in the system. You would have to do this manually currently. Okay, so there is the $4 only charge for leads that have booked a call, or is it charge on all leads? So the $4 is charged on every lead, regardless whether they've booked a call or not. This is not on a per qualified lead basis. So every lead that comes in would get charged $4. And we will see what we can possibly do about some of the completely fake leads. For us guys, this is honestly, it's not about trying to make a ton of money out of this. We're trying to break even as far as even the services costs, because we can't have too many ISAs per number of accounts. If we have 100 leads coming in on a monthly basis, there's a finite number of clients we can have on one account. So we wouldn't be able to bill $4 just on qualified leads. That would be impossible. $4 on top. Okay, $4 per lead in Mississauga too. So Dan, the cost per lead is on top of what we're actually billing here. So for example, you would have to be generating those leads through our system if we're going to be your ISA for you. And your cost for that is separate from what we're talking about here. The qualification service is basically $4 per lead. Okay, awesome. $4 lead, working email and phone number. Okay, so we answered that question. What if 100 leads are not generated per month, like in a slower month? So Ross, as long as you are generating 100 leads a month, in some months if you get 90, that's okay. We're not gonna nickel and dime in that perspective. It is what it is. What does ISA stand for? It's Inside Sales Agent. That's kind of the service that we're naming it. If I heard a property minimum is 100 leads per month, yes. If I heard properly, yes, 100 leads a month NIPDEEP would be minimum for us to get on this program. Now, we're going to send all of you the instructions on how to do this all yourself if you want to do it yourself. The other thing that I want to mention is that we're limited in terms of how many clients we can actually put on this program. We're probably about 10 clients max right now to be added onto this program. So we're going to be able to add more and more clients afterwards as we get more resources in. So we right now don't have the resources to be able to add a larger number of clients. How do I pick which leads I give you, or is the leads that just comes in? So Tracy, this would be a source of leads. Basically, it's going to be hard for you to pick and choose which leads are going to get assigned to us. We do have the ability. If you are getting 100 leads, for example, from your lead gen website, but you want your leads from your branded website to go to you, that's 100%. We can easily make a distinction between those leads and say only those leads will go to us. Will you work the older leads that are currently in the system? So Tony, we are going to figure out a way to actually engage some of those older leads. There has been SMS messages that we've put together that have actually done a great job at actually engaging some of these older leads to try to get them to correspond and get them in. However, we're not going to work them as we are working these new leads that are coming in. We're going to simply try to engage these leads every now and then as they become older, or any older leads that you have. So I hope that answers your question. Can we try for a month? So Navdeep, I honestly don't, we haven't put a term, and we've never had contracts for any of our products. But if you're only looking to try something for a month, this is probably not the best thing for you. It would be best that you can try it yourself, honestly, and you know, see what you can extract from the conversations. But it's going to be hard for us to, you know, even onboarding you and getting everything set up, getting all your campaigns set up, getting your video, getting the help for you to video, create the video and all that stuff. There's a lot of work on our part that we actually have to do to get this going for you. Would this include only text email automation, or would you be calling the lead? We are not calling the leads at all, guys. We will not be calling the leads. We're trying to stay away from completely making the phone calls. And when there's any talk about a phone call, we book the appointment for you. So we can actually have you speak to the lead. So that way we're not talking to the lead at all. You're most welcome. AJ, the ISA is $4. Will we also include just SMS or the leads that are already in the system, or just charge for existing? So this is only for new leads, Theo. It's $4 per lead for new leads. And that you need to be getting at least a minimum of 100 leads coming in on a monthly basis. So the existing leads that you have, there's just going to be a plus. Any of the old leads that we engage for you and we get them working for you, it's going to be a plus, and we're not going to bill you for the engagement of those older leads. Okay, trying to download his browser's not working for me. Can you post a link to the chat? Yeah, I will again post it. Here we go. So download.wehelp.ca. I'll refresh my screen, make sure it's working. Yep, it's working. So I just posted the link to the chat here again, guys, to all panelists. So wait, all panelists and attendees. Jesus, what's wrong with me? Okay, so I just posted a link again, guys. I'll post it a few times so you guys can see it there. So download.wehelp.ca. Thanks, great. Okay, so just to confirm, you're not taking real estate via, we're not talking real estate via SMS or email with the lead. Are you trying to get them to agree to phone call with the real estate agent? So Lynn, that is the point. We're trying to first, number one, extract information as we can, as much information as we can out of them as they're chatting with us. And then after we've extracted information, or if they're willing to speak to somebody even sooner, we're booking that phone call for you right away. So the idea with it is to try to get you on the phone with them so that you can actually convert them. Michelle, thank you for me. I hope you find it easy to follow up with myself. I'm a very non-techie person. So Michelle, we'll try to make it as easy as possible, and we can certainly create some additional webinars to help you guys set all this up. Like Crystal is on here as well, who's our training manager. We can put together, like once we put together all the content, we can put together maybe a couple of webinars, maybe once a week, that people can go on and go follow step by step on how we can actually set that up inside of their CRM system. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Getting everything all aligned for them and walking them through that process and how to get it all ready and going. So if they wanted to action it on their own, they have the full ability to do so. Everything's set up and good to go for them.
Yeah, perfect. So awesome. We'll make sure that we provide as much guidance, guys, and our support. Our support. We'll try to do as best we can to make sure we get you guys all information. If we see more and more requests that people are struggling with it, we'll get it going and make sure that we can help you with that. I'm currently not receiving 100 leads a month. How do I know how much I need to increase my ad campaign to receive 100 leads? So Jojo, the best way to do that is to send an email to support@agentlocator.ca and say that I want to increase my budget to be able to get 100 leads a month, and they can respond to you to let you know exactly how many leads or how much you need to increase your budget to get to that point. Francisco, there's another question. How do you tell them you have been active or seen this property recently? How do you tell them you've been active? So Francisco's question was that how do you tell them? Like, for example, if a lead has been active, like, are they going to think that I am spying on them by me telling it that? Or if they looked at it 3 times, you could say, I wanted to take a minute to see, wait, there was that one message that I saw. I noticed you had taken an interest in specific address. So Francisco, I hope that answers your question. Do you have any questions? So that's kind of a nice way to get into it. How are leads generated? So guys, for all of you that are looking for generating the leads, if you are not currently on a lead program, we do have a question here that, are you interested in other agent locator services, lead gen websites? You can say yes, contact me for a demo, and then we'll contact you to get you a demo set up. If you are currently not generating any leads, so we can help you generate those leads and help you get set up on that. Didn't get the link. Can we find it again? Okay, so the link for those of you that haven't seen it again, download.wehelp.ca. Nicola, how to please clarify the payment structure, $4 per lead. So yeah, it's essentially our structure for this is $4 per lead on our end. So we're gonna basically, you need to be generating a minimum of 100 leads per month. And then we'll bill you $4 per lead, essentially on top of, it's 4 times 100. That's our cost per lead for us to actually do all this follow up for you to get you the conversations that we've been able to get here. Can an unlicensed person follow up with these leads, and have they been licensed realtors? So Lynn, this is a great question in regards to, and this is one of the reasons why we're not making any phone calls at all. We're not looking to have a chat with people. We're not looking to, go and overstep any boundaries in terms of asking very real estate related questions that need a realtor. So in this case, since we're using SMS and email, we believe that we should be able to get around that. $4 for unlimited back and forth with leads. So Billy, we are looking at 90 days where we can try to extend it if we can. We'll figure out what's the best timeline. Like, we obviously are not going to stop qualifying your lead, even if it passes that 90 days, if they're in communication with us. But if a lead hasn't responded to us and it's 7 months in, and we've tried sending over 30 messages to them, they have not responded back, we will probably give up on that lead for you. So many of AgentLocator leads either don't provide the correct number, or SMS can't work, or don't open any emails. Send them. How do I recommend trying to get their attention? How do you recommend trying to get their attention? So Nicole, this was Nicole's question. There is going to be like, if we look at the actual stats from these leads, out of 541, only 216 responded. So that means 60% of the leads haven't responded at all. We could try to do as best we can by actually communicating with them. If all we have is an SMS, and even if it's a fake number, or if it's a long distance number, we can't even communicate by SMS. All we have then is an email. The idea is that we want to try to engage them at the times that they're probably most responded with. So if they're looking at a listing, if they like the property, those are the best ways we can actually get them to respond. However, some of these leads, we're not going to be able to respond at all. Like, a good portion of them, we're not going to be able to do anything with. So I hope that kind of answers your question. Are bad contacts charged as well? All contacts are charged, Mohammed. So it's $4 per lead, and even if they don't respond, we are charging for that lead. I'm not looking to charge you guys for leads that we can't obviously help you with. That's not our intent. We need to be able to make this profitable in the sense that we're a for-profit company. At this rate that we're at right now, it's a losing proposition for us. We've been losing money for this ever since we actually even created the program, and we're going to be losing money on it for a little while until we can actually get enough resources and enough people to actually be able to have enough leads coming in so we can actually pay off for the system. So again, we would not be able to bill you $4 per only qualified lead. It would be impossible for us to operate like that. And if we did go on a qualified lead, we would have to bill you like $400 or $500 per qualified lead. It just, or whatever the numbers are, just to make sense. I hope that kind of makes sense for you guys. I'm a part of a team under AgentLocator. Our messages that have been sent seem to be linked together. Is there a way we can set up a campaign so that it's just for me? So Nicole, yes, depending on how your Twilio account is set up, like if it's under a company account, then all your messages are kind of under one number, but you can separate that so you can have one number for each person inside of the account. So you don't need to have one phone number for everybody in the CRM. We need to remember we cannot control how leads respond or don't help keep our sanity. And yes, thank you for that. Definitely, the idea is to keep the sanity. Internet leads, listen guys, internet leads, for those of you that have been doing internet leads, we know what they're like. Internet leads are not great leads. Internet leads are, they're pretty crappy leads, from the sense that, the concept is, let's get as many leads as we can. Let's go through them as fast as we can to get to the few that are good. Internet lead generation has never been about quality. It's always been about quantity. And we will try to turn them into quality by actually communicating with them. But when you get a lead to register off of a website that's forcing them to register, and that's the only way to do lead generation. In fact, I'll give you guys something that we tested out a while back. So we had a client that said to us, I don't care for crap leads. I don't care about forcing people to register. I want to create a website that's open, let everybody browse as much as they want. Don't make them register, let them see everything they can see. And I only want to work with those leads that actually contact me off of listings after they've browsed everything. So we did that. A total spent was $55,000. I can't remember the exact numbers right now, but about $55,000 spent on that campaign. And when they look at their conversion, because this team has been doing internet lead generation both ways for a long time, they were generating, crappy leads, and their team kind of got, I want better leads. So after spending $55,000, they made less money from those leads than they did from the leads where they actually forced people to register. So the concept of doing the lead generation on paid where you're paying for pay-per-click, where you're paying Google to send traffic to your website, doesn't work without forcing people. You have to force people. It's like making your open house sign optional, open sign and sheet optional. Who's going to sign it? Nobody will. That's just how the internet lead works. It's a numbers game. Brana, yes, 100% numbers game. The leads that went to showings, those end up in signed BRA contracts. So Theo, Sean, I don't know if you know whether we've had signed BRA contracts on the 6 showings. I don't know if agents have actually reported back, but there were 2 sales from those 6 showings. So do you know, Shauna, if there was BRA signed for those showings?
I don't actually have an update, but I can definitely get that.
Okay. We don't know if they have, Theo. Don't forget, everyone. These are internet leads and conversion industry 3 to 4%. That's 100%. Jonathan, thank you. We'll be reaching out to leads at a time of the day that matches their use of the system in the same time each day. So Sean, we are essentially going to try to contact the leads as fast as we possibly can for each account. And we have a baseline of what we're trying to follow in terms of trying to understand, when do leads respond, and how do we get back to them. We're going to create a baseline on our part to say that we need to get at least this % of response from these leads that are coming in, just to make sure that we can actually keep providing valuable service. So we'll find the best time, but we're not going to set an exact time of when we're going to respond to them. Not sure if you have seen this question. Should we continue to call leads through the SMS campaign? So Hannah, it doesn't hurt to call them either. It truly doesn't hurt. It'll certainly help with the conversion, because a certain number of people don't mind a phone call. They would love to have a phone call. So 100% call them if you can call them. On our part, we're not going to be calling them. But if you wish to do this while you're doing it on your own, 100% if you can, call them. If so, the numbers make sense, I'm in. Please do. If so, the numbers make sense, I'm in. So Theo, as far as the BRAs, we know that that's something that's up to an agent, really. Some agents make all their clients sign BRAs, some agents don't. And that's also another one of those things it's what you say, it's not how you say it. So it's not really controlled by us at a very high percentage. So yeah. Malcolm, do you have any specific approach to clients who are on the fence or only slightly interested? The market is very crazy, but sometimes they'll say how they are concerned with turning around to purchase a property with a ton of other buyers out there. So this is going to be a hard question for us to answer, because we're not real estate agents. This is a client that you're already communicating with, and you already are, you're in that process of communicating with them. Malcolm, I'll give you one resource that I know has helped many agents, real estate groups. So one of those real estate groups that we know is really well, Real Estate Hacks. Amazing group. In fact, let me pull it up here for you guys. So if you haven't registered, go and check it out. you can ask that question there. I'm sure that there's going to be some agents who will provide some great feedback. And this is one group, honestly. There's 20,000 realtors, realtor members in there already. So this is it, facebook.com/group/real estate hacks. And I'll send a link here as well so you guys see it. So that's a group where you can ask that question that might be able to get the help. What is the cost to, or so let me see, make sure I haven't forgot. How much do we need to spend for 100 leads, Google plus Facebook? So Ejaz, I don't know the exact numbers. Support at AgentLocator.ca will be the best to help you with that because it depends per city. Some cities, the cost per lead is a little bit more, some are less. I'm going to discuss my business partner. It's easy to contact you, get set up maybe next week, hopefully leaning towards. So any of you guys that actually want to possibly get set up on this, please fill out this form. So this form will help. Number one, we'll send a copy of everything here to you guys. Whatever you fill out here, based on whatever you fill out here, we'll send you a copy, but express your interest here that we're not contacting people who don't want to be contacted. So if you are interested in an ISA service, yes, I need this right away. We'll message that here and we'll contact you. Again, please note that we have a limited number of people that we can actually put on this program. So it's not that we can't put everybody right away, but we will add more resources as we go to make sure that we can add more and more clients. Is this data just text, email, or both? So it's both, Jennifer, both text and email. So we have been using both text and email to actually get these leads to respond back, and we'll be sending you guys everything that's text and email. What is the best way to master CRM function in order to get most out of leads? So Rahul, your question, what is the best and fastest way to master the CRM and use functions in order to get the most out of the leads? There are a few trainings. So if we go to training.agentlocator.ca, we've got different AgentLocator CRM basics, automated lead gen training. There's actually step-by-step videos that you can go through to learn more about the system. I'll send that link here as well. When do we expect to receive content from download that we help? So that's a great question, Zara. So we're going to finish. Shauna, maybe you can help answer a question. When will we expect to receive the content from download.wehelp.ca?
Sorry, the content that I need to prepare?
Yeah,
Sorry.
so when did we, so I don't know how long it's going to take for actually just to prepare. I know we started preparing the actual content for the emails. So Zara's asking how long will it take? Is it going to take us a week, 2 weeks? Is it going to take a few days?
I would say by the end of next week.
Okay, so by the end of next week, by Friday the 29th, we're going to put together all the content and make sure. So the other part that we want to make sure is that we want to make sure that it's all laid out step by step on how you can actually add it to the CRM. So by the end of next week, the latest, you guys are going to have all the content that we have talked about here. How quickly can we expect to get a copy of every? Yeah, okay, that's another same question. So we have about 160 people on still, and I think we've gone through most of the questions. Guys, if I've missed any questions, I'm truly sorry. I didn't miss it for intentionally. Please, you can ask the questions. We'll stick for another 2, 3, 4 minutes and make sure we can answer everybody's question. Is there any other questions that I have possibly missed and haven't answered yet? No? I missed today's webinar. I have a recording for webinar. Yes, so Pankaj, we're gonna email all the participants. So as long as you're registered, you'll get a copy of the actual webinar sent to you by email. Anna, you are most welcome. Question by Johnny, when we receive leads in the CRM, do you take the leads out of the CRM to work them, or are we able to see the leads in progress, or are we able to contact the leads that the ISA is working on? So Johnny, you are able to see all the leads. It's all done inside of your CRM system. The ISA's account is created inside of your CRM system, and everything that we do is visible to you. So you see the whole thing. You see everything you need to see. If you want to jump in at any point, you can more than jump in. Sometimes it's a little hard to communicate, but you will have access to your ISA so you can communicate with them. But it is something that you can see. You guys are all so welcome. I see a lot of thank yous, Tina. You're welcome. You are most welcome. Pankaj, if you're not working with Twilio, can we still use SMS? So Shadi, we need Twilio in order to do this. We cannot do without Twilio. SMS is very important for us. How will we be shown to get notifications for leads to receive properties 3 times? So Hannah, there we will include in our document the ability so you can see exactly. You can contact support and say, I want to get notified every time somebody looks at a property 3 times, and support will help you get it set up. Bill, you're most welcome. Liz, you are most welcome. Johnny, welcome. Nick, you are most welcome. Thank you all so much. Much appreciated. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Ross. Having a team, can we designate which leads are contacted by ISA? So yes, Ross, we can designate which teams are being contacted by ISA. So I think I have answered all of your questions. Again, thank you all so much for everything. And if you guys have any questions, you guys always know where to find us on support@agentlocator.ca or message on Facebook or fill out that form. All right, so there's one last question. Twilio phone lines are not clear and clients complain a lot. How can we get clarity of voice? So Nikki, if you're having issues with the clarity of phone, when it comes to actually if you're calling leads from your CRM system, there are tips and tricks that support can send you. So if you email support@agentlocator.ca, tell them that. We'll send you some tips on what you can do with your router to help with that a little bit. Amazing. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end it there. Thank you all so much. You are most welcome, Nikki. And have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day and an amazing weekend. Thank you, Ross. 10-year anniversary. Yes. I appreciate that, my friend. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of the day and amazing weekend coming up. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Shauna. Thanks, Crystal. Bye, guys.
Bye.